The Lake District is wild, wonderful and truly magnificent. It's home to England's highest peak and its deepest lake, and is now a World Heritage Site. It is an amazing landscape, and for the last 20 years it's been my home and my playground. I've had a lifetime travelling the planet, exploring the great outdoors, but nothing beats the lakes. Sunrise on the summit, and I've got it to myself. I'll be going on some of my favourite hikes and checking out some of the Lake District's special places. In this episode, I'm heading for Derwentwater and Borrowdale, places that have been shaped by the power of water.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you very much. I'll hitch a ride on a Viking longboat. This must be one of the very best ways of experiencing the Lake District. And meet the folk who live in the wettest place in England.
The only thing I missed was the rain.
And I'll head for the summit of one of the lake's most famous mountains, Great Gable. This is my Lake District. Derwentwater and Borrowdale are jewels of the Lake District. It's where huge mountains tumble into the water and the wild places never feel too far away. It's why this corner of the Northern Lakes is so popular. My journey started near Keswick, but I've also got Borrowdale in my sights and the long climb to the summit of one of Lakeland's classic peaks, Great Gable. But before then, I've got a stop-off planned on the shores of Derwentwater. There's nothing like messing about on the water. And when the scenery is as good as this, well, I just had to join in. I've always loved kayaking. And what better place to do it than right here on Derwentwater? Just look at it. It's blimmin' marvellous. I'm on my way to an event which is a big day in the local calendar. It's the Derwentwater Regatta just outside Keswick. It's a throwback to the times of 18th century eccentric and industrialist Joseph Pocklington, who used to hold mock naval battles on the lake. He styled himself as King Pocky, while a friend attacked his island with a small armada. Must have been quite a sight. Yes, I want one. The regatta is a magnet for all sorts of vessels. Like this thing. It's a replica Viking longboat. You all right, John?
Yeah.
Can I come on?
Yes. Welcome aboard.
Thank you very much. Wow.
And pull. And pull. That's a nice pace.
John Platt has spent more than 30 years running an adventure company on Derwentwater. For him, away from the tourist crowds, this is the best place on earth.
I would have to argue that Derwentwater is the prettiest and the most fantastic of the lakes in the Lake District, if not the world. Where else can you go to work and that's your view? I get to make my relatively meagre living, but a living out of doing what everybody else does for their holidays and as hobbies.
Well, it is absolutely beautiful. I mean, I like it that back in the town it's a bit busy. It's a big day today.
Yeah.
But you only have to come down this way, come south, and there's the whole of the Borrowdale Valley.
Absolutely.
Cat Bells up here. It's stunningly beautiful.
It is. On most days, I would argue I have the best job in the world. That said, there are some days,
there's always some days
when you might not think so. I am now going to get the sail down. When I do, keep your heads down. Sail out, because it will... Derwentwater is exposed to the elements, so when the wind is blowing, there's only one thing to do, and that's go for it. I've done a lot of sailing in the lakes, but never on a boat like this.
Just look at this. This must be one of the very best ways of experiencing the Lake District. Viking ship, fair breeze, sailing beautifully. Amazing. Derwentwater is vast, but it's under threat from an alien plant invader. So I've swapped boats and joined Penny Webb from the National Trust, who's showing me the scale of the problem. We're coming up here into a sort of complete thick bank of it.
Absolutely. We're just about to be completely grounded out by it. This enormous lawn effect.
Oh yeah, we've just
here.
run right into this.
Yeah.
It's hellish thick, isn't it?
It's incredible. So dense that nothing else can grow through it effectively.
Yeah, no kidding. New Zealand pygmyweed sounds small, but it's causing a massive problem in places like Derwentwater. It was brought to the UK 100 years ago to oxygenate ponds. In the 1990s, it was found in this lake.
It can grow up to 3 metres, these long tendrils, and in storm conditions, this is the problem, these get broken off and washed around the lakeshore, and then when they hit the lakeshore, they take root and spread and create even more carpets.
Native British plant species and rare fish and invertebrates just can't cope. The battle's now on to stop this weed from spreading, which is why lake users are being asked to clean their wetsuits and boats before they leave. I hope Derwentwater wins its war against this alien invader, but it's time for me to move on and head for Borrowdale and my ultimate destination of Great Gable. But before then, I'm stopping off at a giant rock with an even bigger reputation. It's supposed to be the largest in the world. The Victorians loved a bit of exaggeration, but this boulder fitted into the idea of what was known as pleasurable terror for tourists. What these days we might call a cheap thrill. This is the Boulder Stone, an enormous boulder that tumbled off a nearby crag long before anybody can remember. It's delicately balanced on one edge, and some clever clogs has worked out that it weighs about 2,000 tonnes. Less in doubt is its size. It's more than 30 feet high and 90 feet in circumference. Flipping massive. It was turned into a tourist attraction by guess who? Joseph Pocklington, the guy who had the crazy mock naval battles on Derwentwater. The early tourists just loved it, and you can imagine the sense of imminent danger with delicate Victorian ladies wondering if they were going to be the ones on the top when the boulder finally rolled over. But this big lump isn't going anywhere soon, making it the perfect subject to be painted. Julian Cooper is one of Britain's leading landscape painters, who's travelled the globe capturing the beauty of the natural world. He's from a Lakeland family with a rich artistic heritage. The works of Alfred and William Heaton Cooper brought the splendour of the lakes to an international audience. But Julian sees these hills in a very different way. He just loves the rock. Right, Julian, look at this.
Yes, well, it's coming on, isn't it? Yes.
Yeah, it looks absolutely great. I mean, when we walk in the Lake District, here in Borrowdale, although we're aware of the grand vista, we experience it in sort of succinct bursts,
We do, don't we? Yes.
So I think that's why I'm so attracted to your paintings, and this one in particular, because that's how we...
We do. It's as we're walking dynamically through the landscape, little incidents are constantly appearing and then disappearing, and then another one.
Yes.
And then we're physically maybe, negotiating a bit of rock or... Yes. No, that's how it really feels and appears, as opposed to the kind of set tableau. Yes, and I think that's partly what I'm trying to do.
Rock does have a personality, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yes. I mean, it can feel different under the fingers, can't it?
Yeah.
And I mean, the quarry, the slate of the quarry was past there. So smooth, cleaving, lovely curved shapes compared with this gnarled volcanic rock. I feel rock is, in a sense, alive. It's animate in a funny sort of way. It's been through the same processes as the formation of the Earth, after all.
For Julian, it's the angles and curves that make the lakes a special place. His ancestors felt it too, but they had to feed a very different market that just couldn't get enough of the classic view.
My father and grandfather had to do that in order to sell the paintings to make the money. The market was, you know, that's what the market wanted, the view, the vista. But in a sense, trapped. They were both trapped into the economic thing of raising families.
It's easy to see why so many people are drawn to Borrowdale. And at the turn of the 20th century, one man arrived here and became a local legend. Millican Dalton was unusual in every sense. He'd left the rat race behind in London to spend his summers living under canvas in the Lake District. And by the 1920s, he'd found a more permanent residence in a cave on Castle Crag. Millican offered an alternative lifestyle to those who wanted to join him, with hiking and climbing adventures based on his own love of nature.
He was a true outdoorsman, so he knew which woods would burn the best. He knew where to forage through wild nuts and berries. As for his guiding, he never had an accident in all them years.
Wow.
He was also a vegetarian, teetotaler, pacifist. You could class him as a bit of a godfather of sustainability.
Expeditions from what Millican called his cave hotel were legendary. The self-styled professor of adventure didn't discriminate. Women were just as welcome as men. And 70 years after his death, his story lives on.
My peace disturbed. Ha! Half of the world's peace is disturbed, so I decide to retire to my cave hotel.
Local actor Peter McQueen is the spitting image of Millican Dalton.
You've got no blackout curtain. No. Nor do I have doors, windows, or a welcome mat. This is a cave. Dug and blasted.
His one-man show tells the story of the winter of 1941 that Millican spent in the Borrowdale cave, and his spat with the most important man in Britain.
Great.
We're effectively in Millican Dalton's home, aren't we?
Yeah, we are, yeah. Which is such a special place to do the show, which doing a performance in here on the rocks that he probably sat on and slept on under his roof and looking out at that extraordinary view that he used to look out on.
He may have been living the dream, but with Britain at war with Germany, Millican's carefree lifestyle was about to be challenged.
His freedoms were being impinged upon because the Keswick air raid warden had come up and told him to put his fire out and put his light out. He was incensed by that and wrote to Churchill about it, to complain about the infringement on his civil liberties. So Churchill becomes a bit of a nemesis for him in the play, and he writes several letters to him.
Churchill never replied. After all, he was a bit busy with the war effort. A few years later, Millican's time as the caveman of Borrowdale came to an end. His life in the great outdoors had served him well, and he died in 1947, aged 79. And I'm sure I can feel his spirit in these hills.
Well, there's not a definite link, but Keswick is now the adventure capital of England. It's in the area where Millican Dalton operated. Yeah, he's definitely left a legacy out there. People, they want to follow his dreams, even though it might be on a weekend basis. They still come in and live in his sort of life.
As I continue into Borrowdale, the heavens open. When it rains in the lakes, be prepared for a soaking. Streams have become rivers, and the river itself has merged into the lake.
Come here, come and look. If you ever needed evidence of the power of water in the Lake District, you can't beat coming to Borrowdale. Today we had a forecast of about 4 inches of rain on the tops, but because this is such a vast catchment area, you can see millions of gallons of water coming down the gills, and naturally enough, it's flooded. And even though I find myself getting super energized by challenging weather, you've got to remember that downstream, You've got people's livelihoods and property at stake. You know, bad weather in Lake District can be very serious business.
Storm Desmond batters the UK.
Misery for tens of thousands of people waking up to flooded houses and no power with roads.
This was Keswick in the Lake District, 30 miles south. The usually peaceful River Greta, a thunderous tide.
In December 2015, more than a foot of rain fell in 24 hours. The infrastructure of the Northern Lakes took a battering under the deluge, and no more so than the old railway line to Keswick, which is part of the coast-to-coast cycle route.
Well, that's it, isn't it? I mean, Scott, there is no bridge.
No, the bridge is gone, got knocked out in 2015.
This is one of many places near Keswick where Storm Desmond did its worst, in what was the latest in a string of epic weather events.
2005 was the worst storm ever recorded in the lakes. 2010 was then the worst storm ever recorded in the lakes. 2015, worst storm ever recorded. There's a pattern building up to it, and we'd more or less got on top of it when another one happened.
The swollen River Greta cascaded through this valley, picking up hundreds of tons of debris. The bridges had withstood everything that had been thrown at them for almost 150 years, but this time they didn't stand a chance.
This bridge was pushed off, then completely mangled, and ended up about 50 metres down there. There was another one further off stream that got pushed off, but the width of the river was almost doubled to the bridge size. It was a railway steel bridge built in 1876, so stayed there a massive amount of time, and taken till 2015, so a phenomenal storm that took it out.
The repair work continues, and the coast-to-coast cycleway has been rerouted. The bill for replacing this set of bridges is likely to be more than £5 million, but further downstream in Keswick, people are still counting the cost. Hazel Hutton's holiday cottage business was fully booked when the storm came. Her guests had gone to a wedding, leaving their cars and possessions behind.
There's a video here of the actual flooding. It's a little bit dark, but...
Wow, Hazel, that's a lot of water. Yeah, look at those cars. And the colour of that water too. It doesn't look, it's evil-looking stuff,
well,
you know?
that's it. That's everything it leaves behind, isn't it? Once the water's ebbed away out of your house, that's what you've got to clean up.
Hazel's family have lived on this hill above Keswick for almost a century, and it had never flooded before. But when a nearby beck burst its banks, even the farm's digger was unable to alter the flow.
You knew that it was futile in a way, but you had to do something. You couldn't just stand there and let it all pour into your house, even though it already had. You know. Come on, I'll show you in.
Yes, please.
See what we're like now.
She's back on her feet now, but it took a year for Hazel to get sorted.
Is it possible to have an estimate as to what that single event cost?
That one event would be somewhere in the region of £80,000 to £90,000.
Yeah, and that's just the financial cost.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it, these events, take their emotional toll as well, don't they?
They do, yeah. And it's only now, really, I think, that you can feel that things have changed, the way that you think about things.
Flood damage is bad enough, but spare a thought for those who live in what is officially the wettest place in England. Seathwaite gets around 140 inches of rain a year. That's almost 12 feet.
Come on! Help!
And farmer Pete Edmondson loves it.
What is it like living here, Pete? Wettest place in England?
Well, I can tell you this, it's a beautiful place, and I think it's the most beautiful place in the whole of the Lake District. As far as I'm concerned, I'm not saying that because I live here, but I've been all over the Lake District, and this is a unique and majestic valley.
Pete's family have lived here for more than 100 years. It's a classic lakeland farm. His Herdwick sheep are hefted to the land here. It means they instinctively know these hills are their home territory, come rain or shine.
So when it's really thumping, it's one of them rainstorms, what does it feel like?
Yeah, it's frightening. We've all got web feet, so, as you know, ducks like water, but we have to take it as it comes.
So here you are, man living in the wettest place in England.
Yeah.
Would you swap it to live in the driest place in England, Norfolk, Cambridge?
No, definitely not.
Good man.
I've been in dry places on the other side of the world, and the only thing I missed was the rain.
There is one advantage of so much water. This part of the Lake District contains one of the few remnants of a huge rainforest that once covered much of the western side of the British Isles. The intense rain and humid air means mosses and lichens can survive, but some of the big stuff is impressive too. These gnarled specimens are the Borrowdale yews at Seathwaite. No one's entirely sure how old they are, but a branch that fell off was dated at being around 1,500 years old. The rest of it is still going strong. They've been here so long that William Wordsworth was moved to write a poem.
Each particular trunk a growth of intertwisted fibres serpentine, upcoiling and inveterately convolved.
Well, I'm not sure what he meant, but I think he liked them.
I've left Seathwaite behind and I'm on the start of the long climb up to Great Gable, which lies at the end of Borrowdale.
It's a funny old business, this exploring, Lark. You can spend your life hunting out big targets in wild and remote places. And of course, I can tell you the stories of the life and death experiences that come with them. But a day like today, coming up Great Gable, one of Lake District's finest peaks, is a fantastic adventure. And with any luck, I'll live to tell the tale.
Great Gable is not the kind of route to be done in jeans and trainers, or with a map and compass that you don't know how to use, because it's very easy to get into trouble up here. Sarah and Martin are members of the Keswick Mountain Rescue Team, and this is one of their supply stations high up on the way to Great Gable at Stye Head.
When you're walking from down there, the first thing you see is, the beautiful dog on top of the rock, and it's like, come here.
Right.
So what are you up to?
Well, we're just checking the kit that we store up in this box up on the mountains here, just to make sure everything's in working order, and in fact that it's still there, really.
Oh, I get it. So it's a routine check.
Routine check every once a month or so. We come up and have a look.
I've heard stories of people spending a night in there.
Yes, they have. It's true. It's not
true,
a story,
isn't it?
it's true.
And now I see
and
it.
dry in there.
It looks all right, yeah.
It's dry and out the wind, so...
Yeah, no kidding.
It's not luxury.
It's certainly a bit cosy in there, but people often find themselves in bother because they rely too much on modern technology.
And I guess that mobile phones are a help and a hindrance today, aren't they, in the hills?
It's a bit too easy with mobile phones sometimes these days to call for help.
Yeah.
Because in the old days they would have had to come down from here to make a phone call to get rescued. But because they've got the mobile phone, they can just ring up and say, I'm here.
Mobile signals can be hit or miss in the mountains, but if you are lost, a system called SARLOC can help locate where you are.
We can send them a text with a link to a website, and if they've got internet access and can click through to that, then they will pop up on our map on the computer at base, and then either we can talk them down from where they are, if they're prepared to do that, or if they're in trouble or injured, then we can find them quickly because we know exactly where to look for them.
But even experienced people can have problems on the fells. In 1946, renowned British climber Wilfred Noyce fell from Great Gable and broke his leg. In a desperate state and with no formal help available, it was locals who rescued him in a 21-hour operation. The Keswick team was formed soon afterwards, and they remain a volunteer unit. As for Noyce, the young man rescued in the lakes, he went on to play a major role in the first ascent of Everest in 1953.
People should be prepared to be more, self-reliant. They should go out with the right equipment. Check the weather forecast before they go, because often a lot of our rescues happen in the afternoon. It's been a lovely morning, and then they're just not prepared for the weather that comes in the afternoon.
And it's with one eye on the weather that I begin the climb up to the summit of Great Gable. At just under 3,000 feet, this mountain is the 7th highest in the national park. And today, I'm feeling every inch of the ascent.
There are hundreds of great peaks here in the Lake District, but there is something about Great Gable. Maybe because it's mentioned in so much history, it has a timeless nature. And for me, it's always had an indescribable sense of power and weight and heft. I'm going to see what it does today.
I'm on the final push and doing a curious form of step aerobics. These slabs were laid as part of a project called Fix the Fells, an attempt to keep walkers on the right path and stop us trampling on delicate mountain habitats. It's hard work, but look at the views. Great Gable is a momentous mountain, not just for its size and scale, but for a memorial near its summit. After the Great War, it was decided to remember those who loved these fells, but who never returned from the battlefield. High in the clouds, these were seen as the Hills of Freedom. The Fell and Rock Climbing Club bought Great Gable and a dozen other summits to mark the sacrifice of their members who died serving their country. The tops of these hills are now in the hands of the National Trust, and each year on Great Gable there's a memorial service on Remembrance Sunday. My climb to the top of this mountain has taken 3 hours, and I can't think of a better place to reflect on those who've gone before me and who didn't get the chance to fully enjoy this majestic landscape.
I do get very excited every time I come out on a Lake District adventure, and coming up Great Gable is one of my firm favourites. It's got absolutely everything, including an ever-changing palette of weather. I mean, just look at this behind me coming in from the west. It's coming in pretty fast. Time for me to go home.
Join me next time in the lakes, when I'll head for Coniston on an unusual form of transport and test my climbing skills on one of the lake's most notorious peaks.